welcome to 108 Gate. This is possibly fourth attempt at this video, which is interesting because I had felt like I wanted to do it instantly after the Divine Feminine reading, which you can find in the general reading and in the Divine Feminine playlist, but something kept coming up and stopping. So even now it feels as though I've got to be determined and structured to make sure things are moving forward. So the energy that was coming up, even in thinking about the reading, was around wanting to do something, wanting to achieve something, but all these different things kept coming up and stopping it. Things that we're attached to, things that we are unconsciously attached to or attached to us, keep coming in and stopping us. So it was quite a frustrating energy. It was quite a daunting energy, in the sense of no matter what, it felt like no matter what I do, I just keep being kept backwards. I keep being stalled. I keep being blocked, and it was quite annoying. So interestingly, we've got the Eight of Coins, and with that Eight of Coins, it's about the wanting to build something, doing the actions to build something, trying to ensure that you're doing the next steps, you're taking the next steps, and in doing that, showing that I'm not giving up, showing that I'm prepared to do what it takes to get this done. I'm prepared to do what it takes to make sure the momentum continues. The issue with this is there's some things in the past that you may have worked on for a significant amount of time, and as you have obstacles come in the way, or you had to possibly move, I'm seeing things packed up in a box and you've moved the box and you've forgotten about the box, that kind of vibe of like you have all these different things you may have been moving forward, propelling forward, working on, intending to take to the next step and the next level, but because of time, because of experience, because of events that have happened, or others having to kind of distracting you from what you were doing, it's kind of got lost in the past. It's got lost in the cupboard under a dusty, or like another dusty load of boxes, or whatever you want to use as the analogy. It's just basically not at the forefront of your mind, but at the same time it's kind of pushing up. Interesting, look what's just come out. It's pushing up from a different space within self to resurface, to re-emerge. So it's like you're having to rescue salvage something from the past residue, the past debris of what's just been cluttering up, or what's been left and abandoned. It's like it wants to resurface, it wants to be recharged, it wants to be rejuvenated. So I'm seeing lots of dots, and those dots they're all linked up, but the thing is there's lots of space between each dot. So there's a dot, all the dots are beginning to connect up, but the dots have a lot of space between, because it may have been that you did something, you were trying to build something, you got distracted, and then you forgot about the dot, whatever the dot is. It could be a project, it could be a friendship, relationship. You're trying to get to somewhere, you're trying to achieve something, whatever it is, and all the dots are kind of, you're seeing the space between the dots. So you try to do a project, for example, this is just an example, so as a coin, so you put that coin in at that point, and then you forgot about it, and then you next time you invested the next coin, then you invested the next coin, then you invested the next coin. So if you see those dots, things are starting to connect up now. So all that investment was not in vain. All that investment hasn't been wasted. You're going to start seeing through the judgment of no matter what happened, you've returned back to this thing. You've returned back to this status. You've returned back to this friendship. You've returned back to this way of being. Because even though you were distracted, even though you were taken off path so many times, there was something within your being that called you back to it. There was something in your being that brought you back in alignment. And maybe that was what you invest and put down the next token of gratitude of having this, or the next token of I'm fully for this, but I just feel like right now is not the time for it. So this judgment is showing that your investment, wow, okay, So this is going to be showing that your investment is going to be assessed. Were you investing in the correct things? And wow, okay, so as soon as I said that, there's a surge of fear coming in the solar plexus and sacral chakra. So this is where some of the work needs to be done. I am going to say there's a playlist that has tuning forks for each chakra. You can just press play all, or you can play the individual sacral chakra or solar plexus playlists for the tuning forks to clear some of the energies that here. Straight away is going to the back, so where you needed a backbone, where you needed that courage and strength to take steps forward to make something complete, where you needed to show your complete investment in something was compromised. Saying compromised feels very appropriate, it feels very accurate. So that judgment now is not so much you didn't stick to it, but more so that you with possibly an incorrect judgment, you got distracted. But it's the fact that you're doing it with a good intention. You meant well, you meant to help someone. You thought that at the time that helping someone else was more beneficial or more required than you actually helping yourself. But in this judgment, you're really going to have to go within and stop some of the patterns, or stop some of the punishment that's coming from the patterns. And I'm saying the punishment from the patterns because there may be a sense of loss. There may be a sense of I lost out on that opportunity, or I lost out on this, or you actually lost something because you put someone else as a priority. The difference is then you didn't understand fully that they are capable of doing it themselves. So you didn't have to be distracted or diverted away from what you were building. They could have done it themselves. They could have actually invested the energy and time and effort that you felt you had to invest in their thing, but you could have invested, or should have invested, could, should, would, use it the way they come up in their. You should have invested in your own thing. Again, there's a lot of torn perspectives of would, should, could. When it comes up, I suggest you use it as an indicator of what could have, should have, would have, and then switch it in your favour. Utilize the emotions that come up, utilize the sensations that come up, use the words around it for you to empower yourself, to switch it, to alchemize it, and see what else is available to you. In realizing I could have, would have, should have, but you didn't, you couldn't, and you wouldn't for a certain reason. Look at those reasons, look at those things that are coming up around it to inform your decisions. So let's put him in the light. Emperor coming up around this. It does feel like a higher perspective, a higher energy, a higher investment is required. So at this point, you were a different version of yourself, and not a lowly version or a lower version, but just a less informed version of yourself, a less determined version of yourself. You were easily distracted at that point. Excuse me. Easily diverted from what you were supposed to be doing for yourself. That's not from a bad place. It's not from a bad stance. And this is why this judgment is coming in, that although you did certain things and they were more than capable of doing it themselves, don't be so hard on yourself. One, for just trying to be helpful. Two, for then missing out on something for being helpful. Don't let this get you confused about being helpful and the way in which you can be helpful, because this means you have the capacity to be helpful, to be kind, to be loving, to be giving, to be sharing. But don't let other people's influences on you turn that into something that, well, I shouldn't do that then, and I shouldn't have done this, and I wouldn't do it again, and I couldn't do that again now. So all that would, should, could, switch it. Really allow yourself to be informed about what it's telling you, and then bringing an end to those things that are not working for you. So when you could have let them do it by themselves, why didn't you? What was it within you that felt like you couldn't? Were you being cajoled? Were you being told that I can only do so much, and you, whoever you are, need to do the rest for me? I can't do this myself. I need you to do it. And yet they're sitting back and just watching you do it. Or the other way around, did you say to someone else that I need you to do this for me, and then you sat back and watched someone else do it? Which part of the fence are we on here? Which is interesting. Or you're wanting to build something, you put so much in, and then you kind of take a step back and say, well, that's someone else to do now. When in truth, is it your own part to continue the building, to continue this, that and the other? So the judgment is really asking you to take responsibility of the level of investment you've made, where you were distracted from that investment. Reinvest, recalculate, evaluate. What was it worth? What was it worth investing? Why were you still being drawn back to certain things? Was it beneficial to you? Was it depleting of you? Were you repeatedly investing in the same thing that's not actually for your benefit? Why were you doing that? Do not be judgmental of it. It is coming up in a judgment, in the sense of, look at the truth of it. The judgment is coming up of, you intended good. Good didn't come out of it in the way that you intended. But now is the time to make those corrections. Now is the time to make those course corrections. Now is the time to kind of shift the frequency and details about those situations. Interestingly, this is the exact kind of energy I was referring to earlier about punishing self and keeping yourself stuck in situations or scenarios because you're not able to forgive yourself with certain things. It's like that. It's easier to punish yourself than actually think, well, what do I need to do now? And then recollect yourself, rebuild yourself to be able to get back on that horse and keep going. So here it's saying the Queen of Cups is coming in with some like self-compassion, some self-love, some self-appreciation, and understanding that situation and scenario happened. What are you going to do about it now? Do you lay on the ground and feel broken and stay broken, or do you get up and start pulling the pieces together? And it's part of the thing around this is around how many times this keeps happening. This happened before, it's happened before, and it keeps happening and it keeps happening. And it's like, well, that repeated negativity or that repeated low frequency of it is because of the exhaustion. So this is why the Hermit and the Death around this is really important, because it's like you can't keep letting these same patterns happen over and over again, and then having some honest self-reflection about it can bring some real end to this. So the judgment, again, informing you of what is the outcome of this situation. Why is this outcome favourable? Why is this outcome not favourable? What can you do to shift and change it? One of those things is not keep punishing yourself. All those fragments that have been ruined and just feel like they've gone to waste, the fragments are still there, it's just that they're not in one piece. So again, with self-love, compassion and all that stuff, it's about bringing it together and making it work for you. You've got all this material here that you can melt, and then you can make one massive Ace of Swords. I know there's only 4 swords there, but it doesn't mean you can't make a massive Ace of Swords out of that, because the learning and the all the valuable stuff from that fragmenting of those swords. So the 8 of Swords is usually in your mentality, in your psychology, in your emotional space, in the way of your thinking, in your mindset. You're going to have limitations, restrictions, but keep yourself limited and restricted. It may have come from others keeping you limited and restricted and diverted from your own higher good, but how much have you taken on that thinking and that the beliefs and all that, and then taking it on as your own and then behave as if it's your own? I'm having occupants coming to mind. I'm having I don't actually want to go there because it's quite a dark energy. So when we have people around us that hold lower frequency energies and they attach, I'm seeing like a tentacle kind of thing, and it fixates. So in the first reading that I did, I was talking about those hooks when you kind of put it up and then you pull it down, and then it has 2 levers kind of come out that way, should we say. So then when you try and pull it out, it automatically fixes into the thing it's supposed to be holding into, and that is a really firm fix. So it's about bringing it back up, getting those things in and bringing it back, then flushing it out. But when you have someone having those kind of attachments to you and just inserted their fixtures on you. They've inserted their thoughts, they've inserted their energies, they've inserted their energetic hooks into you. You've got to get shot of them, you've got to get clear of them quick and fast, because then they just you kind of get used to the pain, you get used to the influence of you, and then you just kind of start walking with that metaphorical limp. You start thinking with that metaphorical, that energetic negative or low frequency perspective of things. It's about clearing those negative perspectives. I'm again hearing occupants. Have you got occupant? And if you don't know what occupants are, then I wouldn't suggest going there without some kind of guidance, if that makes sense, because they are on another level of energetic interferences, on another level of energetic intrusions, shall we say. So that's why if you've got no one around you that you trust with that kind of thing, again, one way of doing it is sound energy or things like that. Go to the tuning forks, play all of them at this point, and just see what happens. Can you feel the shifts and changes? And what's coming up, this is quite a deep energy, and I knew it would be once I got round to it, because of the amount of times I've come to this space, attempted to do the reading, and it just literally, the camera's been flying off the stand. It's stopped when there's full battery, there's space on the car, whatever it is. There's been so many times that I've tried to record it and it's just stopped. So I've had to kind of feel through it, and I've some insightful things have come up. So this is very, very, if you didn't quite grasp it all at first, if it doesn't resonate, fine, let it go. If it does resonate on some level, listen to it again, second time. Don't be worried about having to hear it all at once. If you need to, pause it. If something's coming up and it's feeling a bit awkward and strange and it's activating something, pause it and just sit with it for a moment. You can always press play and continue with the rest of the message. This is literally packed with so much information about how it's all intertwined and how we can get ourselves out of some really dense energies. Right, that card disappeared behind the radiator. I can't even get it out. Interesting. I'll have to get it out later. I don't even know what it is. Hierophant. I can't access it, but I can see it from looking behind the radiator. The Hierophant. This is the kind of stuff that's been happening. So when we even try and access that higher perspective, that higher influence, that higher information. Let me try again. No, it won't come out. Oh wow, okay. So you can probably hear how difficult that was to get out. Hierophant. When we try and access that higher perspective, that higher information, it isn't going to be easy. It isn't going to be straightforward. You really have to be persistent. You have to be brave. You have to be courageous and keep going. Keep going. Allowing yourself to make sure you have the appropriate rest, the appropriate nourishment and nurturing along the way. It is going to be worth it. It's a matter of your commitment to yourself. It's a matter of your commitment to your higher picture. It is exhausting on some level, and that's why sometimes when we're motivated to do something, we stop or we get distracted and pulled away, and that box that we put stuff in gets lost at the back of other boxes too, and you keep pushing the box back, and then you put another box in front of it, and then you push them back, and then it gets lost. There's something in there of great value. There's something in there of higher value to yourself that you need to unbox, that you need to take out, dust it off and bring it back into your forethought, bring it back into your energy field, bring it back into yourself. It may be soul fragments, it may be that you need to get rid of other people's soul fragments and bring in your own healthy soul fragments. This is going to bring up a bit of conflict. It could be inner conflict. Like I said, there's going to be that tug and pull. It's going to be energetic tug and pull. So if you see it as you've put so much energy and attention and effort into that distraction for someone else, and then all of a sudden you're retracting your energy and you're having to divert that energy back to yourself, you're not going to, well, it won't be surprising if you don't get some flack from that, if you don't get some kind of rebuttal from that, because like, well, why are you now taking your energy from me? Why are you not doing this for me? I can't do it myself. And you're just looking at them, and I can just see someone kind of like, well, you can do it for yourself. Give me one good reason you can't do it for yourself. Maybe that's the way to go in. You keep saying you can't do it for yourself, and you've just listened to that and you've believed it, so you do it for them. Ask them, why can't you do it yourself? Give me one. Give me two good reasons why you can't do that for yourself. You might be quite surprised at how they weren't even expecting you to ask that. They weren't expecting that kind of response. And they may not have a reason why they can't do it themselves, which might even be very, very interesting for them. So, again, one of the reasons I did previously, the Page of Cups came in, which is interesting in a different way. So here now we're having the Page of Cups coming in with the, if you just keep sifting those low vibe frequencies, the low vibe energies, the low vibe emotions that have been building up, just keep kind of taking them off. So I'm seeing like a dirty scummy pond or something, and you just keep skimming off the top. Just keep skimming off the top. So the Page of Cups just pouring the dirtiness off and pouring more healthy emotions back into self. So you got the Six of Swords here, which is indicating moving away from something that's quite tumultuous, that brought up turmoil, and into a new space, a new emotional, I want to say new emotional background. So, or with a new emotional background from this, removing self from that, going into a healthier space emotionally, and this is going to help propel the moves forward. So this is a masculine energy, so it's about how we emotionally supporting ourselves in the feminine, divine feminine, your own inner yin, supporting your own inner yang, to get that harmony, to get that balance. And it seems here that the most appropriate way right now, so when you come to this video, is just keep skimming the negatives away. Just keep refueling yourself with so step by step, drop by drop, drip by drip, thought by thought, emotion by emotion. Just keep going, steady and strong. Don't have to do everything all at once. This, like I said already, is an intense, dense energy. So work with it gently, work with it with calm. You've got the Queen of Cups here, the compassion and love you need to show yourself right now is on another level. So I hope that helped. I might just get one oracle card and one feminine card, just to support the reading and see what else externally can be of greater support. So here you've got romance. Let's see in what context that is coming in. Well, so I'm going to put that there straight away. High Priestess is there. Feeling that harmony, that romance feels like it's going to that space of the harmonious balance between your own yin yang. When you're in that sweet spot, how does it feel? It's like everything smells sweeter, everything smells better, everything tastes different, everything sounds different, you feel different. What is the romance around that? Romance in this sense doesn't need to be a relationship, like a love, romantic relationship. The romance feels like when you're elevated and you see that peach rose, and the colour of the peach just like, it penetrates your energy, it penetrates your frequency, it penetrates your thought, it penetrates your emotion. And I'm saying peach for some reason, because I saw there's this one space in the village where they always have these gorgeous peach roses, and there's loads of other roses too that are just gorgeous, but there's something about this peach in contrast to the other ones. It's like they're in the background and then illuminating the vibrancy of this particular peachy kind of rose. And it's those kind of things, like you're walking around and you have a lovely environment, or you have a lovely feeling, but then there's this one tiny sweet spot that illuminates all the grandiose heightened spaces and energies of the other emotions then. But without that pinpoint, without that sweet spot, the rest of them are just mundane in comparison. It's just that slight elevation to another point. this is what this is. Coming out of here, elevating slowly, gently, kindness to yourself, elevating, and then this Hierophant and High Priestess, literally bringing it up to another sweet spot, bringing it up to, and look at that. Is that a peach or a nectarine? It's a peach. I didn't even see that until now. I'm going to have to take a photo of that rose now, and I'll post it in the group thing. Hopefully it's not gone by the time I've walked past it next time. Finch and the peach. I literally just saw it now. Peach. But that peach is just, it's fantastic. It's vibrant. It's really something else. Okay, so getting another one. That one was just illuminated, but this one, coming out of, again, emotionally investing in yourself, emotionally investing in that kindness, the self-love, the self-respect, the courage, the strength. Keep going there, and building it around you. So with that, I'm going to leave it there, because it feels like this is taking us into another realm, into what would be another reading. So enjoy the process of this. It's not an easy one. It's not a one part fixes all. It is a process. It is a journey. So understanding how you function in that journey is really important. It may be even beneficial that if you feel yourself stuck in a certain part, to make some notes of how did I get myself out of here, because that could be useful to you later on when you come into a similar situation. So for now, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Please hit the bell so you get subsequent readings from this. Let me know how you're feeling about the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine readings coming back, because I haven't done them for a while. I get that. But like I said, time is a little limited at the moment regards to reading. So I'm doing what I can when I can. So until next time, peace and love.